So we are going to understand today, so what is the log shipping, how is the functionality of the log shipping, and how to configure log shipping. What are the prerequisites to configure the log shipping? That's what we are going to see that today. So first, let me open the whiteboard where we can see this one. Okay. So now today we are going to see this one, log shipping, how this log shipping will work. So as part of log shipping, we are going to talk more about how this, let's assume guys here, so we'll understand this log shipping. So now here, so the log shipping. So what is this log shipping? How this log shipping will work? What is the functionality of this log shipping? So this is the technology we are going to configure between two servers and between two databases. So why we need this technology? What is the usage of this log shipping? Because let's assume here we have two servers, guys. We have two servers. Let's say this is my one server. This is one SQL server system. In this system, we have one SQL server. SQL server instance. And same system, we have some databases. And this is what the system, I'm going to say primary system, primary server. This is the primary server. And there, all people are trying to connecting to this primary server and they are accessing these databases right now. For suppose if any issues are there in this system, so let's say hey, some hardware failures or some any reason this system is not working. Then in the same data center or maybe different data center, so we are going to have one more system, one more computer as a secondary server. This is also same SQL server, same SQL server. And here is the same databases with the same data. Everything is same guys, but this is a different system. So now here, this is what we are going to say secondary server. Secondary server. So this is a secondary server is like a backup server. That means if this server is having any issues, we will be having this is a secondary server. So for suppose if there's some hardware issues are there, so suddenly some hardware issues are there in the system, so it is system is a shutdown. This is not able to again switch on. Even though if we switch on, it is not up. It is not coming back to online. So this system is gone. So in that case, we will be having secondary server and we can start using this as secondary server immediately. So here we have to make sure to configure between these two primary server and the secondary server. So only the configuration here is whatever data we are going to do that in these databases, the changes in the primary server. Say here, whatever changes we are doing in these databases, same changes should come to here also. Right? And if you done any changes in the server, in this SQL server, let's say I added some more users, some logins, or I created some jobs on this server. I installed some softwares in this mission here. I installed some applications. See, whatever we are doing here, everything we have to do it in a secondary server also, because the main reason is, so this is a secondary server. In case if primary server is gone, I want to make sure the same secondary server should have same contents and same softwares and same applications. Everything is the same jobs and same databases, everything is same. Sir, here the thing is, let's say this is the databases. If you done any changes here, sir, do I need to do same changes here as well manually? That is the question. So we don't need to do manually. There are some tasks we have to do it manually, and some tasks we don't need to do it manually. Automatically, we can come. I mean, we can make available the changes from this database to this database flow it automatically. So what we are going to do that we are going to push that changes. So from this database, let's say this is my one database D1. This is the database D2, and same that D1 database. This is what we are going to give same name D1, and we are going to give for this also D2. And the changes, whatever changes are done in a D1 database, I want push that changes to automatically over to here, guys. Maybe take some time, take half an hour time, maybe after half an hour or 1 hour or end of the today, whatever changes you've done in these databases, I want push those changes to over here. I think we should not say that 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. That changes should go from here to here, but not back. Okay. So these two databases are in a read-only mode. These two databases are not accessible by the users. Okay, so now only the primary server, under primary server, whatever databases are there, users or applications start accessing applications. Applications means that's application servers. Start connecting to these systems. So this is all will connect to this primary server. Primary server is now the read and write state. That primary server is allowing the connections from the users. But these users can't connect to this directly, guys, because these databases are not available for access. These are in a read-only state or restore read-only state or else restore-only state. So the databases and secondary server are not allowing the users to perform any changes. Yes, guys, it will not allow. So when you can start accessing this secondary server, in case if primary server is gone, in case this primary server is having any issues, so let's say this primary server is having some hardware failures or something like that, then what our DBS will do, they will, it will anyway, if it is having any issues, this system will forcibly shut down. Then after, our DBS will pick this server and they will make all these databases are ready to available for the users. Okay. So if any pending changes are there here, and they will take that changes and apply on these individual databases, and they will turn these databases to available for access by the users. They will make it. DBS will do that. So when they will do that, in case the primary server is gone, primary server is having some issues. So then immediately, so once these are having issues, then after these users will start connecting to this secondary server. Okay. So now this process, right, bringing this secondary server to available to the users, this process we are going to calling as failover process. So now we are going to say failover. This the green color represents the connections after failover. This green color represents the connections. Connection after failover. So after failover means that's what failover is nothing but secondary become primary. That's what the meaning of the failover. So now here we are going to, I'm going to talk about this one. As soon as primary server is down, as soon as primary server down means it is not available for the access. So as soon as it is down, now the users and applications will start connecting to the users and the applications start connecting to the secondary server. So the problem is, as soon as primary is down, they can't connect. As soon as they can't connect, our DBS has to brought this secondary server to the available to the users, because the secondary server is always not available for access by the users. So now, so DBS, so in this case, DBS has to bring DBS. We have to work to bring a secondary server available for users. By users and applications. Yeah, whichever is connecting, it doesn't matter. So what the DBS will do first of all. So this is all we'll discuss one by one. First of all, sir, how you are going to set it up. So this is a primary server and this is a secondary server. If any changes are done in this database, how do you move these changes, sir, from this server to this server? Because what I'm going to do that, I will take the backups. First, I will take initial full backup of this database and I will restore here. And then after I will schedule a job. I will create one job and that job will take the transaction log backups, and that backups I will restore in this database with the no recovery mode. Because I am going to keep on taking for every 15 minutes, take transaction log backups here and restore here. That is what I'm going to follow that here. So now the mechanism here in the log shipping is in a primary server. In this log shipping. So in this primary server, right? And this is now a system, one system. And this is what here it is. And this is my system, my computer. And here I have that SQL server instance, here inside this one SQL server instance. Under the database, let's say I'm going with the example of one database, same configuration for other databases also. This is another SQL server. And here I'm okay. This is what. Let's say this is SQL server. This system name is same as chreddit-pc. Just assume chreddit-pc. This is the system name, and this SQL server is a Learn SQL. And same system we are just practicing, guys, on the same system, or else different system also. This is the same way chreddit-pc, and this is TGT. This is server name is TGT. Okay. And in this SQL server, we are going to do that. So this is a functionality, guys, configurations, check full backup and restore that over here. Restore that full backup in this server. So now when I'm going to restore, I will use that, keep that same name as it is, the database name. Let's say this is database name is TS_1. And the same database name, I'm going to keep it here as well, TS_1. Here the SQL server name is TGT, and here the SQL server name is Learn SQL. Database name is TS_1, same database name TS_1. Here what we are doing here, take that full backup and restore over here. Check full backup, restore on a secondary server. So now here, this is what we are doing, guys, here. So that's it. We took the full backup of this database and we restored here. Now what I'm going to do that for every 5 minutes, for every 15 minutes, or for every scheduled time. So what I'm going to do that, I will create one job here in this inside this SQL server. So let me delete this. Inside this SQL server, I will create one job. This is inside SQL server. I will create one job. What is this job? This job is for what this job will do. It will take that backups, transaction log backups for every. You can schedule that job. Let's say I'm going to schedule this job. Schedule job to take T-log backups. T-log backups. Guys, what is my plan for this to implement log shipping? What I'm going to do that, schedule a job, that is what transaction log backups from this database. So this is one job, and the job will take that transaction log backups and put it in one path. Put it in here, one path in a C drive or D drive. Usually we are going to use a shared path. Put it in one path. And this path we are going to call it as a shared path, guys. This is what? A shared path. It should be a shared path, guys, actually. We can create one folder as a shared folder, and then we can use the network. See now here, what is this? This is a transaction log backup job, guys. This is a transaction log backup job, and this is a transaction log backup job is taking the transaction log backups of this database. So this is T-log backup. That's it. So now this is a backup path. This is the backup. This is where we are going to store all our backup files. This is a shared storage. I can say that this is a shared storage. And this is storage path always refer like this, guys, //chreddit-pc/ something like this. Okay, now here ls bkps slash something like that. That is what shared path will be looks like this, guys. So the path of this location is like this. So shared storage, we are going to store all transaction log backups from this database. And I'm going to schedule this job to run for every 15 minutes. Schedule this taking every 15 minutes, take transaction log backups from this database. I'm going to schedule this. Schedule the job to run every 15 minutes. That means every 15 minutes, the transaction log backups will generate from this job. Every 15 minutes, it will take. So this is what the schedule I'm going to do this. Okay, sir, we created one job and this job is taking transaction log backups from this database and it is going to put the log backups over here. Okay, this is fine. And here, from here, how you are pushing these files to your secondary server? Because in a secondary server, I will have one more job inside that secondary server, inside that SQL server instance on the secondary server. I will have one more job, and this job I am going to call it as copy job. What this job will do? This job, it will copy all these files, take these files and put these files in one of the path inside this SQL server, inside this mission. We will be having one disk drive, right? We will be having some more disks here. Let's say this is my SQL server. And inside this, we are having some disk, right? Inside this mission, we are having a C drive, D drive, right? And the E drive. So now one of the drive, this copy path, what it will do, it will copy these files from shared path to and put it in a local path. Maybe we can specify one path. Let's say here in the E drive, it will start copy these files. Whenever your latest backup file is available, that latest backup file will be copied and keep it in a E drive. That's what copy job will do. What copy job will do? It will copy the files, backup files from this shared path to local path on a secondary server. Okay, that's what here it is doing. This is the complete secondary server. So now here this is fine. Inside this, guys, inside this again we will be having one more job. That is what? The restore job. One more SQL server job. This is what I'm going to say, restore job. So whenever these transaction log backup files are available in this path, in the E drive, in this path, then take that files and restore that files on top of this database. So mainly we are going to use 3 jobs, guys, here because it is automated. I am not going to do this manually. I don't want to take backups, copy and restores manually. So these jobs will do all these activities, guys. These jobs will automatically take these activities. Let me write down with the proper names here. This is what restore job. This is restore job. So this is what log shipping is. So for suppose if I am going to configure 2 databases in a log shipping, then there will be 2 jobs. 2 backup jobs, 2 copy jobs, 2 restore jobs. All that will address one by one. See that this is what, guys, the log shipping. This is what our computer. This is what our secondary system. This is our secondary server. So this is what, guys, the backup, I mean the log shipping functionality. In the log shipping, what it is doing, it is going to take a backup job. It will take transaction log backups and put it in a shared path, in one shared path. So there will be one transaction log backup job for this database, and every, as per the schedule, take these backups from this database and put it here. And copy job, what it will do? So we can make this a copy job to run. We can also schedule this copy job. We have to schedule. Let's say every 1 minute, go to this path and identify any latest new backup files are arrived. Yes, sir. Latest new backup files are there. Then take those, copy those. It's not cut and paste. It's a copy paste. Copy those files and put it in this local server that is on a E drive, and copy it from here and restore it on this database. That's what restore job will do. So what I'm going to do that for every 1 minute, I will schedule copy job to run for every 1 minute. Every 1 minute, go and check it out. Are there new files are arrived or not? If it is not, new files are not there, then it will not be anything. If new files are there, then take that new files and put it in a E drive. This is the local path on the secondary server, some path. And this is the shared path, guys. These shared paths are outside of the servers usually, but I'm going to create one shared path in this, in my local system, guys. Okay. So this is what it is. So how do we configure? What are the prerequisites to configure this? So can I configure this log shaping as usual? No, guys, there are some prerequisites are there. If you can observe this one, this is a backup job, right? This backup job going to take backup of this database and going to put in this a file. This is a transaction log backup. If you want to take log backup of your database, the database recovery model should be in a full recovery model, right? Then only we can take this database transaction log backups. So let me do one thing. In our class notes, we can go back to our class notes. So we have discussed the recovery model sometime back here. Here is that, guys, recovery models. If you can go and open these recovery models, and if you set that recovery model is a full, okay, I think in other file, recovery model is a full, then we can take that, see that under full recovery model, bulk recovery model, simple recovery model. Okay, here I have not making that note. Under full recovery model, we can take, we have at the time of stores. I think I didn't put that note anyways. Under full recovery model, we are going to take the transaction log backups, full recovery, and okay, I think so here under full recovery model and bulk log recovery model. So the transactions are recording inside transaction log file. Then only we can take transaction log backups. Under simple recovery model, the transactions are not recording anything. Very less information, minimal information it is recording in a transaction log file. So that's the reason if we set the database in simple recovery model, from that database, we can't take transaction log backup. It's because under simple recovery model, the transactions are not going to record on the database transaction log files, because we are always need to put database recovery models to full and bulk log only. Okay, I think I missed that one. Okay, so no problem. Yeah, here anyway we have these notes, and here, guys, so we need to set the database recovery model to full or else bulk log recovery model to take the transaction log backup. If we set it in a simple recovery model, we can't take the transaction log backup from that database. It will be the problem. So one of the prerequisites is we always prefer to go with the full recovery model. So now one of the prerequisites is the database should be in a full recovery model. This is what the prerequisites. Before we start configuring log shipping, we have to make sure these prerequisites, guys. Now that prerequisites to configure log shipping. So the first one is database. On which database we are configuring log shipping? Database should be in a full recovery model. Full recovery model. Database should be in a full recovery model. And next one is, so next prerequisite is, guys, there should be one shared path, and to that shared path, so this backup, this backup job should have access to put the files in this shared path. We need one shared path, guys, like this, and into that shared path, this SQL Server agent job. This is SQL Server agent job. This is what we are going to say. SQL Server agent job should have access to put the files to this shared drive. How do you grant access? We are going to discuss that one as well. So now here, media shared path, media shared path, and SQL primary server, guys. On a primary server, SQL agent service account, SQL agent service account. We have access to the shared path. Shared path. What access this is what we are going to say right access. That means if I grant right access, that can able to put the files in that path, guys. That should be right access, okay, to the shared path. This is one. And next we have next requirements, guys. And the next requirement is this copy job, the SQL Server agent service account on a secondary server. This is secondary server. On the secondary server, that a SQL agent service should have read access on this shared path. That means this copy job should be able to read the files from this server, and this copy job should have read access on this shared path. This is a copy job. That copy job is nothing but SQL Server agent job. So SQL Server agent job is nothing but SQL Server agent service account should have access. So now here SQL agent service, that is on a primary server. In the similar way here, SQL agent service, this is from secondary server. This is from secondary server, should have access. Just 1 minute. So this one should have access secondary server. This is what here it is. And but here this which service account this is on a primary server. This is on a primary server. Primary server one, and this is a secondary server one. Okay, this is fine. So now here in a similar way we are going to see. Yeah, so anyway these service accounts, these jobs should have access to this local path on the secondary server. So we need one more path, and we have to make a list, guys. This is also we need one more path in the secondary server. You need to identify one local path on secondary server. This is not shared path, guys. This is one path in a E drive, and this path should be able to access by SQL Server agent service account. So that is what secondary path. That is the secondary path. That is not a shared path. So now here the path. We are going to say path. So we need a path like this, guys. So local path. We need a local path. Secondary server. So this local path is like this, C/ something like this. Okay, this is what local path. So this local path need to place the backup files. Okay, this is what, guys. So these are the prerequisites to start configuring this. Okay, to start configuring this. So now let me go and start this configuration, guys. I'm going to close this document, and if we need, I will open this document again. I will share these diagrams also. So now here, guys, I'm going to start implementing the log shipping between two SQL servers. One is the Learn SQL, and we have another one, TGT SQL server. I installed these two, guys. I installed these two in my system. We have these two. Okay, here it is. It's connecting. I think I need to start that TGT server. Let me open configuration manager. I need to set up the service accounts for this TGT. You see that these agents are disabled. We need to enable all this, guys. So I'm going to do that one by one. Let me open the notes. I have the notes for all these, guys, and you can go through that notes and do that one by one. Okay. But I will walk you through that. Just I will walk you through that notes, and then I will do the same thing one by one. So I want you to configure this log shipping today, guys, and we'll talk more about the next session, we'll talk more about the functionalities, issues, what issues will come, regular issues, something like that. We'll see that. Okay. So now here, this is what the primary server, learn SQL. So let me replace that one. So now here we are going to see this SQLPS, learn SQL. So I'm just making sure to change these notes, guys. Earlier I used SQLPS is the server name. This time target TGT server. This is my TGT is my secondary server. Okay. So now here setup prerequisites. What are the setup prerequisites? First, make sure SQL Server service account and SQL Server agent service account should have access to the paths. First, we need that one. So for that, first we need to enable this SQL Server agent. We have to enable agent XPs on both servers. We have to make sure this SQL Server agent should be in running state, and also we have to set up the proper service accounts. I'm going to do the same thing for this TGT server. You see that service account, it is showing NT service. I don't want this one. I'm going to set up the account, which is a CH-Reddy account. Right click and go to the properties. I'm going to set up that account. CH-Reddy. Okay, apply. Yes, it is going to restarting this service, guys, because I'm going to set that username and password for this service. This is very important, guys, because these service accounts should have access to all your shared paths and as well as the local path and the secondary path for secondary path. That's why I'm going to set up these service accounts. This is a very, very important. After setting up these service accounts, I can enable. Okay, so for TGT, I set it up CH-Reddy. For the same SQL Server agent service also for TGT, I'm going to set up CH-Reddy. Properties. I'm setting up the same thing also. Okay, done. So now these are service accounts. I set up these service accounts for Learn SQL TGT, okay, agent services, and as well as SQL servers. So I have to make sure this agent should be in a running state, guys. That somehow it is in a stopped state. We have to run it. So now what I'm going to do that first I need to enable SQL Server agent XPs, and then I will start this agent service. How do you enable? So here we have this turn on SQL Server agent. We need to enable that turn on the SQL Server agent and make sure it should be in a running state. So these are the commands, guys, to turn it on, because we already tested these commands, guys, last session. So I'm going to connecting. Let me open one new query window on a TGT server. So how do you open? Right click and say new query window. It will be connected to TGT server by default. And in the TGT server, I'm going to execute these commands. So these commands will help to enable this SQL Server agent here. So just do refresh here. Now it will show that SQL Server agent is. So this is not in running state, guys. We have to run it. How did you run that? We can run it from configuration manager, or else SSMS component also we can run that. So anyway, I'm going to start this service, SQL Server agent service. We need agent service, guys, because the jobs are going to run based on agent service. So this is fine. So now I can see that agent service on both servers and the SQL Server services are running. Agent services also running, and I set up the service account CH-Reddy. So now this guy should have access to that paths. This guy should have access. Okay, so that is fine. So now here, guys, so this is my primary server, Learn SQL, and this one TGT is my target server. So now here we need to make sure, guys, that the primary server in this, which database you want configure, guys. So I'm going to configure. Let me pick one database, SQL DB 9:30 AM. This database I am going to configure in the log shipping. Let's see, is there any? Yeah, there are some tables are there. Okay, let me see the size of this database. If it is less size, then I can configure very fast, because otherwise what will happen, that taking the backups, full backup and restoring on second server, it will take a lot of time. So yeah, it is a 19 MB only, so that is fine. Okay guys, so I'm going to set up this database in the log shipping. I'm going to set up, see, same setup we have to do it on every database, guys. Every database, we have to do that same log shipping configuration. But for now, I'm going to set it up one database. So this database recovery model should be in a full recovery. Let's check it out. Go to the properties of the database, and here in the options, and check it out whether the recovery model is full. Yes, sir, this is full. So we are good. So first we verified that one. And second one is we have to prepare or create a one shared folder, guys. And this location will keep on store the backup of the database, transaction log backups. This location keep on store transaction log backups of the database. So this is what we have to create that we have to create that a shared path. Okay, how do you create that shared path? Go to any drive, guys, in your system. So now here in our class notes only, right? And here only I will create one shared path. Let's say this is my one folder. Let's say so this is one path, guys. This is one folder. What I'm going to do that I'm going to make this folder as a shared folder. Right click and share with specific people. Yeah, let's try. Okay, I'm going to say here everyone. I'm going to share this folder. Let's say click on share. But I'm not sure, guys, how do you do this in a Windows 10? There should be a way in a Windows 10. Okay, you can do that. So now, okay, let's set that. So now we shared this path, primary SQL DB at 9:30 a.m. So now, what is the network path? How do you access this path? Let's go to the run prompt, and I'm going to say that / your computer name, and enter here. It will show that path here. Where is that path? It is not showing up, guys, anywhere. I think so. Okay, I think this is not the right way to do that. Let me go to properties and go to the sharing here. Go to the sharing and click on advanced sharing. This is how I will do every time, guys. Shared folder, this is what it is, and permissions. I'm going to add everyone, full control to everyone, or else I will add only CHRD account here, because I would like to give access only to CHRD, not to everyone, guys. And CHRD full control. Only for CHRD, I'm giving full control on this path, and say apply and okay, apply and okay, apply. Guys, if you're not giving the proper permissions, then it will be the problem again. So now I'm going to open the network path. Let's open the run prompt and simply type your computer name / your computer name. It will show that what are the network paths are there. See, now this time I can able to see, and this path I am going to use as a network path / this is what the path, like copy this path, and I'm going to use this path here. So this is what my path. I will specify this path as it is in the configuration. So in order to work this path, your computer should be connected in internet or LAN network. Otherwise, these paths will not open, guys. Your computer should be in the network connection. Otherwise, these paths will not open. So all these servers should be running in the same domain or different domain. It doesn't matter. Okay. And these domains will come in later sessions. Take the full backup of the database and restore the same backup onto the secondary server with no recovery option. This is the fourth, guys. So we have to take that database backup. What is the database? Here it is, SQL DB at 9:30 a.m. And I'm going to put that the same database backup file inside this shared path. Yeah, let's keep it, no problem. Anywhere we can keep it. Okay, and let's say this is name of the backup file name is SQL DB 9:30 a.m. .back. I'm going to execute this command, guys. It will take the backup of this database and it will put that what it is saying SQL DB at 9:30 a.m. Okay, right now we are connected in a TGT server. We should not be in a TGT. We have to be in a Learn SQL. The connection is wrong, guys. I'm going to connecting to Learn SQL because this file is connected to TGT earlier. So let's execute this one. So now we are taking the backup of that database. That database backup is generated. Okay, so now this is what all the prerequisites, guys. Now we can start. This is all whatever we've done so far, right? This is all one-time activities. And now we are going to do this configuration of log shipping. And this is what we have to do that for every database. Same activities, we have to do that for every database. So far, whatever we've done, this is one-time activities, guys. This is all one-time activities. We don't need to do again and again. Okay, guys. So yeah, I think this is the same thing. We have to do that for every database. Yeah. 1 minute, guys. So here, usually, right, we don't need to create a separate path for another database. We don't need to do that actually. So, but we have to take this one for every database. From this step onwards, from fourth step onwards, we have to do it for every database. So let me take out this step also, guys. Okay, this is a fourth step. Continuation. This is third step. I'm going to put this as this in a separate steps, guys, because this is the same thing. We have to do it for every database. Here, this is the first step, and second step is start configure log shipping. This is the second step, guys. And whatever steps we done so far, this is all one-time activities. No need to do again and again. This is all one-time activities, guys. Okay. So let me save this one, and I'm going to save this file also. Class notes. Okay. So now what it is, take the full backup of the database. Yeah, we have taken the full backup. That backup is there in this shared path. You see that the backup is there in a shared path. Okay. So now we need to restore this database backup onto my other server. What is that other server? On the target server. We have to restore it, guys. That's what here I mentioned. Restore the same backup onto secondary server with the no recovery option. We have to do this. Okay, so how do you do this? So now we already aware of that, how to restore. Right click on databases, restore database. So device, click on here, and now here click add button, and we need to choose that path. But that path is a shared path, na? So what I'm going to do that I will copy this shared path. Let's copy this shared path. Copy this shared path and paste it here, guys. Here in this backup file location, remove that current path and paste here. Paste here. That's it. And do refresh button. Now it is showing your backup file. And copy that backup file. And copy that. So now this is the same backup file where we are restoring. We are restoring on a TGT server, guys. Here you see that TGT on a TGT server. And here the backup files. So this is on a TGT server. So I'm going to set a different path for the TGT server database files. So now what I'm going to do that in a D drive, guys, you see that in a D drive, in a DB files folder, I'm going to create a separate folder for a TGT server. In the TGT server, whatever databases are there, in that TGT server, whatever databases are there, for those databases, I will put all those database files under this TGT folder. I don't want put over here. Okay? Because these files already, these files are there, it will conflict. So that's why I'm going to do this. See that all these files I'm moving on to the different folder in the same D drive, but a different folder. Otherwise, what will happen now? Now it will throw the error saying that bus already we have some files with the same path in the same name. Files are there. You can't do this. So that's why I'm having separate path. So now restore with the no recovery, because after this, after full backup, I'm going to restore transaction log backups one after another on the schedule basis. So that's why I'm going to say with the no recovery. That means the database on secondary server will be in a restoring state with that is not accessible. And say okay. And say okay. So now see here in a TGT server, we restored that database. We took the backup from Learn SQL and restored it on a TGT server. That's it. But while restoring, we selected no recovery mode. That's what we done. Now, second one is start configuring the log shipping. So now here connect to the primary server. Go to the primary server, right click on the database, go to the properties. This is all guys what I'm going to do that now. This is all the notes I written here, what I'm going to do that here. So right click on the database, which database? SQL DBA 930 AM. Go to the properties. And here you see the option transaction log shipping. Click on here, transaction log shipping, and enable this as a primary database. Yes, sir, this is primary database. And we need to set the backup settings. So every day, every 15 minutes, this is going to take transaction log backups. This is the backup settings, and you click on this backup settings, and we have to specify the path and everything, where you are going to put the backup files. All that path we have to specify. Here you see this guys. As soon as when I click on backup settings, this window is open, this window. And here we have to specify the path. Here I have to specify the path. What is that path? Shared path. Where is that shared path here? So this is the shared path. Let's copy this path and put that path over here. Guys, don't put a slash in the end, because here it is already showing an example. It's started with the slash slash file server slash backup. That's it. Don't end this path with the slash. Okay. And if this backup, if this a shared path we created on the same server, then specify the physical path also. So we don't need to specify physical path. This is optional. We can ignore this option. And here, this is what the name of the backup job. See that automatically the backup job is going to create. This is the name for the backup job. And this backup job will run for every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, it will start taking the backup of transaction logs from that database. So now let's say okay. So backup job is done. So we set the path and all. Now what is your secondary server? In this window only we have to specify what is your secondary server. Secondary databases, we have to specify what is your secondary server, and it's a database. We have to specify here. Click on add button. The same notes here, guys. Whatever I done just now, the same notes are here. Now we are going to add. We have to add the secondary server. Now from the same window, we have to add secondary server. So click on add button and select that secondary server name and its database name, all that. Let me close that. Click on add button. And when you say click on add button, you will see this window. This window is game. And in this window, what is your secondary server instance? It is saying nothing. Let's click connect button. It will prompt select your secondary server. Here my secondary server is TGT and say connect. Now it is connected, and you can select that database, because in a TGT server we have only one database, that is what it is showing. Or else if you have any other database, you can click drop down and select that database. So initialization of the database, it is saying that you must already take full backup. Now in this window, initialize secondary database is presence. You have to take the full backup and restore it on a secondary server. We already taken full backup manually and we restored on a secondary server also. We already taken full backup and restored on secondary server also, right? So that's why I selected no, the secondary database is initialized. Already we take the full backup and we restored it on a secondary server. That's why we are saying this option. And copy files, where you want copy the files. This is what copy path. Where can you please tell me the path to copy these files? So now what I'm going to do that in this same path, I will say that secondary path. Secondary paths. Okay. And for which database? SQL DBA 930 AM. This is what the path I am going to select. This is not shared path, guys. This path will be acting as a local path, secondary path. Let's copy this one, copy this whole, and put this whole path inside this over here, because that the files will be copied from shared path to this path, guys, by copy job. And this is what the job name. This is what the copy job, guys, in the same window, copy files window only, copy files tab, we can see that job name. This is the copy job. And what this copy job will do, it will connect to the shared path and copy the latest backup files and put it inside this path. Inside this path. I think I have to end with the slash. Inside this path, it is going to put that backup files. That's it. And how frequently this copy job is running? I'm going to schedule this copy job to go to run for every 2 minutes. Don't wait for 1 minute and all. For every 2 minutes, go to the backup path. That is what the storage, shared storage. Go to that shared storage and identify that. Are there any new transaction log backups are arrived. If any new transaction log backups are arrived, take those transaction log backups and keep it in this path. Okay, this is the local path on the secondary server. Here the fact is a secondary server and the primary server, both SQL servers are running on the same system. That's why I'm using paths on the same system. And next tab, restore transaction log. So now here guys, when this is restoring that, see now here guys, let me go to that whiteboard. So here you see the restore job. So when it is restoring these transaction log backups, we have to select no recovery mode or else standby mode. If you select standby mode, what will happen guys? This database is available for read-only access. If you use a no recovery, this database is not available for read access. That's what we discussed earlier. Right? So same options are here. See that? Same options. You can say no recovery mode or standby mode. When you select a standby mode, the database is available for read access after restoring the transaction log backup. And disconnect the users in the database when restoring, disconnect the users during the restoration. If anybody is connected and doing some activities and it has to do the restore, then disconnect them forcibly and do the restores. That's what this option. If you don't select this option, then the restore job can't restore that database because that is used by some other users. So that's the one thing, guys. We can keep that database as a standby mode. So I will go with this standby mode, guys, or else no recovery mode. If you select no recovery mode, that database on secondary server is not accessible, even not for read also. If you select this one, then it is accessible for read access. And this is what restore job. What I usually guys, these restore jobs, if we enable this database for read access, guys, this is very important. If we enable the database and secondary server for read access, we are going to prefer to restore the backups once in a day, guys, that too in the midnight. If you are going to restore the databases for every 15 minutes, then don't put this standby mode. Go ahead and use this no recovery mode. Because the reason is, when you put this database in read-only mode and you are doing the restores for every 15 minutes, then how the people will access your database? Every 15 minutes, you are disconnecting them and you are restoring. That may not make sense, right? We have to make sure when you are allowing the users to access your secondary server, don't restore very frequently, because if you are start restoring the database backups very frequently, then they are going to disconnecting. That's the problem, right? Every 15 minutes the users are getting disconnected because restore are going to be happening. That is not the case. So here what we need to do, we have to make it a no recovery. If in case you want to make sure to restore the backups very frequently. Don't allow any user first of all. No, sir, I want to allow the users, and I'm going to change this restore should run in the midnight only once daily at 12 a.m. because at that time, if anybody is accessing the database, it will disconnect them and restore all the transaction log backups, whatever is generated in the whole day. All transaction log backups, it will restore, guys, one after another. We don't worry about that. It will restore. That job will restore one after another without having any issues. So these are the three things, guys. First tab is represents the initialization. Second tab is for copying the files from shared drive to this path, and restore transaction log represents the restore job. And say okay, that's it. So now we added secondary server and database. See this, guys, while adding this secondary server and the database, we done all these, guys. So if you click here, again, if you want to modify any of those paths and all, you can click this ellipse button and you can modify all this. Okay. So anyway, we are not going to modify. That's it, guys. And say finally, okay. And I will talk about this monitor server instance later and say okay. So when I say okay, now the configuration is going to be happening. So once this log shipping configuration is done, now I can see copy job on primary server, sorry, backup job on a primary server, copy job, restore job on a secondary server, that is on a TGT server. And these jobs are scheduled and it will start taking the backup. This backup job is a start taking the backup as per the schedule. Copy job, start copying the files from this shared path to this local path as per schedule. The restore job will take all these backups and restore one after another in the midnight 12 o'clock as per the schedule. This is what is going to be happening now, guys. Okay. So let me go back to the SSMS. So it is saying this is the configuration is done, and we can close this window now, guys. Close this window. Done. Configuration is done. That's it. Log shipping is done. So now here, guys. So these backups. What is happening now? So if you can go to primary server, this is primary server. Go to the job activity monitor, and in this job activity monitor, we can see that. See now, this is saying I mean, this is not our job, guys. This is what we did, we created earlier. I'm going to disable this job. When you disable this job will not run anymore because we disable this job. Even though if you schedule, the job will not run if we disable. So this is what, guys, our job, log shipping. See that here in the category, it is clearly saying this, there are two jobs are get created. This is one job and this is another job. The first job is just alert, log shipping alert job. And this one is the backup job. This is the actual backup job, guys. And this backup is going to start in the next, now the time is 11:24 a.m. At 11:30 it will start. Because every 15 minutes means 11:15, 11:30. Or else you can also run manually also, guys. We no need to wait for schedule. Right click and say start that job. It will start automatically. So guys, so now here it is. So let's wait. Yeah, it is done. It is successfully done. And the next run, again, it is going to run at 11:30 as per the schedule, no problem. And let's go to that job, go to that path. Here we see that automatically we saw that transaction log backup over here, guys. Okay. And the same thing. So now the same thing. For suppose now the copy job. Let's go to the secondary server. So guys, I want you to configure this one today because tomorrow I'm going to talk more about that issues. What issues will come, all that. So go to, this is the secondary server. Go to secondary server and go to the job activity monitor. And here, so always you go with the category, guys. This is good thing to go with the category. What these three jobs are. There are three jobs from log shipping configuration, and see that here. And this is LS alert, this is alert job, and this is LS copy, this is copy job, and this is restore job. Copy job is just executed at 11:24. By this time, at the time 11:24, if any new backups are there, those backups will be copied. But at the time 11:24, we don't have any backups, right? And now it is already, just now it is executed, guys, just now. That means this copy job is already copied that backup file. Just now we generated one a transaction log backup file. Now that backup file will be copied already now because it just now it is executed. Let's go to that path, secondary path. See that now this backup file is copied to, this is the secondary path. This backup file is available on a secondary path. And restore job will run today midnight at 12 o'clock. And at that time, what it will do, whatever backup files are available in this secondary path, it will take all these backup files and restore one after another with the standby mode. So now let me show that the database on the secondary server right now, this is a restoring state. You can't access. What I'm going to do that we have one transaction log backup, guys. We have received one log backup. I'm going to run this restore job manually. I'm going to run this restore job manually. Just run it. This restore job, what it will do, whatever that latest log backups are there in secondary path, we have one log backup, and this log backup is restored with the standby mode. And the next time any new backups will come, those backups will be applied one after another. Guys, I have one question, sir. If we execute this restore job one more time, will it try to restore same log backup again? No, guys. It will record which log backups it is already restored. It will record that details. That details we are going to see that on a tomorrow session. And it will, so this copy job will not copy the same files again and again, guys, because the copy job will write a note which files it is already copied. Because the copy job knows very well which files are new files. Okay, so that's what here it is. After restoring this, after executing restore job, now you see that. Let's refresh. Now I can see my database is showing standby reload. So people can use this database right now. Now this database is having all the data as of on yesterday night 12 a.m. Whatever data is there in that yesterday night 12 a.m. all the data is there in my secondary server. People will use this database for read-only purpose. Okay, so this is one thing, guys. This is what configuring log shipping on one database. Same thing, same notes are here, guys. And this monitoring log shipping, we'll see that after monitoring the log shipping with SQL queries on a tomorrow session. So this is what, guys, log shipping, and this log shipping will be configured between two SQL servers, which are there on two different data centers, because they want to make sure whatever changes are happening in this database, in all these databases, they want to maintain a secondary server for all these databases. Take full backup of all those databases, restore here, and start configuring log shipping each database. Each database we have to configure, guys, this log shipping. So this is what log shipping configurations, and the monitoring and the troubleshooting the issues, some of the common issues and the functionalities, and what is going to be happening during this log shipping. All that we'll discuss one by one in the further sessions. Okay, guys, thanks for attending, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.